We are Splash, a free youth arts workshop. In this video, we show you how to draw a portrait in charcoal.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to another Splash Art class. I'm Charlie Newton, and I'm your artist for today. I'm your teaching artist. Today, we are going to draw in charcoal. We had been doing some pencil drawing from a bust. And every now and then I would mention charcoal and blending. So I just want to give you a demonstration of how you might draw with charcoal and blend. Now, when you draw with charcoal, I suggest that you sketch first with a pencil, but it's different. Well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't, because you have to be careful that the pencil don't dig into the paper, because if you don't sketch lightly, there will be some ridges in your paper, and it will show up as a halo, as halos, or white streaks. Your drawing would show through the charcoal, so you don't want to do that. So normally you would just draw with charcoal and straight with a charcoal stick. Okay, and that's how we're going to do it today. There's several different techniques that I use with charcoals. I'm just going to show you a basic technique. We're just going to draw and sketch as usual, but we're going to use a charcoal stick. I'm not going to use a charcoal pencil. So I'm going to use a stick, and we will just try to line up everything as we're drawing. So this is the type of stick that we're going to use. It's a block charcoal. It's a lot different than when I first learned charcoal, because we would have these thick blocks, and I like those better. Some people will put a point on their charcoal. I tend to not do that. It takes more skill to not put a point, to draw without a point. But you can. If you wanted to put a point on your charcoal, you could just get your sandpaper pad and do that. And I may as well show you how to do that, I guess. So you just round off these corners, but I'm not going to do that today, because it may take too long, and I just like using the charcoal as it comes out of the packet. So I'm doing a self-portrait today, and I'm doing a self-portrait not because I'm vain, but because I couldn't find a picture that I wanted to draw. So I just found a picture of myself, and it was in color, and on my phone I just turned it into black and white. The first thing I noticed is that the face is tilted to my left is tilted. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm sketching, I'm trying to find that tilt, and I'm trying to make a decision about where I'm going to place this head on this sheet of paper. So I'm envisioning the thing in my mind now. So the tilt is going to be like this, more like this. So I'm going to sketch just like I would if I was drawing with a pencil. This paper is not smooth, and maybe I should have drawn on some smoother paper. But let's see, do I want to draw on smoother paper? I don't have a lot of smooth paper. So this paper, the weight of this paper is 90 pounds, so I'll use it. When I draw, I usually give my people large eyes, and it's because I have big eyes. So we tend to draw ourselves. We, we tend to reflect our personal propensities, our likes, our personal likes when we make art. Now, this picture is flat. It's two-dimensional because it's taken. It's a photograph, and it's going to be different than if I was drawing from life. So we have been drawing from the bust, the plaster bust, and you could see how the face turned, but now I need to remember what I learned from the drawings that we did last week. I need to remember that the head turns back. It goes back in space. I'm measuring the eyes because it's generally, I want the eyes to be the same size. You know, I don't want one eye, hopefully, I don't want one eye bigger than the other. So I have to measure that. When I'm measuring, I'm putting my finger where that width is. So if this is the width, I put my finger there, and then I can draw it on the other side of the paper. And even with the measurements, in the end, I'm going to go with what I think I see, what I believe, how I see it. So the measurements aren't the end all. The measurements are just basics for you to help you to know in general where everything goes. So I want my glasses to be the same length as well. I'm going to measure that. It has to be approximate, close to the measurement. It don't have to be. It's not going to be exact, and that's okay. So when I put my charcoal here, then I draw a straight line over here, and the bottom of my glasses may hit around there. So remember, the photograph is flat, but I want to reference 3 dimensions. 3D, not 2D. When I say flat, I'm talking about it looks like it's 2D, two-dimensional. A flat surface like this is two-dimensional. The bust that we were drawing is 3-dimensional. So in drawing with this charcoal, one thing I'm only going to draw with charcoal. I'm not going to use any white charcoal or white Conte or pastel. Conte is a compressed charcoal. So I'm not going to use, well, this is a compressed, I'm drawing with Conte. I'm drawing with a compressed charcoal, which is different than other charcoals. I actually need to go into my closet and find some charcoal sticks. I don't draw with charcoal much these days. I usually just paint for my personal work. I draw for paintings. I draw on the canvas, and then I paint. And these days, I'm drawing with the paint. I'm not usually sketching with pencil now. For years and years and years, 50 years, I sketched with a charcoal or pencil on the canvas. maybe not 50 years, but a large number of years. So I'm just trying to get this figure down here. I don't personally, this is just a demo for you. I want it to look like me, but that's not, as important to me as this demonstration on blending. But first we have to get the drawing down. Drawing is so important for art making. If you can draw, then you're going to have more options for expressing yourself with your art. And everybody has to learn how to draw. No matter how talented you are, there's still something for you to learn. No matter how well you can draw, you may be able to draw better than I can right now. You may be better than I am, but there's still something that you can learn by practicing. It's still going to make you just that much better, that much more better, what you do. So serious artists, when you study artists from the past, they had what's called integrity. That means you do your best. And the more you practice, the better you get. I actually like the, drawing with compressed charcoal is really nice for a drawing that's underneath your painting, but I really don't like it for drawing, as a making a drawing that's a charcoal drawing. A lot of people do like compressed charcoal, but I'll see. It's hard to find the real stuff these days. They're not selling it in the art stores. The real thick block charcoals. Hard to find it. So I'm trying to measure everything. I made my face a little bit too fat, and what tricked me was the temples of my glasses. I made that too long, so that sort of threw me off. But I noticed that, okay, my face is looking too fat. It's looking fatter than the picture. So I went back and checked that temple there. The hardest thing to draw, the hardest portrait to draw, is a self-portrait. And most artists would tell you that. I think that's a given. Because one thing, we don't really look at ourselves a lot, and it's hard for us to see ourselves. And when you're drawing or painting, when you're making art, you want to be honest with what you see. So it's hard to look at ourselves and not be prejudiced. But if you don't have a model, use yourself as a model. So I'm not going to have to deal with any hair. I need to show you a picture of me before I lost my hair. I actually shave my hair every day because my hair has thinned, so it's like, what's the use? So that's the line I wish it wasn't there. Now with charcoal, this is a good, I don't have to erase this line because of the way the light and the shadows, where the shadows are, but I'm going to show you that with charcoal, you use your kneaded eraser. And really you can pick the charcoal up kind of like that. So, and don't rub it. Don't rub the charcoal. So use your kneaded eraser with the charcoal. So I'm going to have to do another charcoal picture using a different type of charcoal. So this is a compressed charcoal. Now the packet says that it's let's see, what does it say? Extra smooth. I don't always want an extra smooth charcoal. I want a soft charcoal. Now I'm going to change this side of my face too. Again, I don't look at myself, so. Now, these glasses aren't right. So what I'm going to do is, see, I've said this before, I have astigmatism. So the way I see things are imbalanced. So I have to compensate for that, overcompensate for it. Since I know this is an issue, I go back and check things. So what I'm doing now is bringing everything on this left side down some. So this compressed charcoal on this rough paper it gives a different look than soft charcoal. S curve. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go and put in the darks. So as you can see the paper showing through, the texture of the paper. Now again, this compressed charcoal is really good for preliminary drawings for paintings. Now I want you to notice something. This paper has a different tint to it. It's off-white. This paper is off-white. See the difference? So that changes the look as well. So if I make a mark here, it's different. But this paper is smooth. So if I blend with this smooth paper, textured paper, it looks like that. Which it actually looks like pencil. It looks like a dark pencil. Whereas if I blend on this rough texture paper, it looks like this, like that. Okay. So I'm going to try to leave everywhere there's light. I'm not going to draw on. I'm going to leave it. The highlights I'm going to try to leave. I'm still using my cross hatching, my hatching and hash marks and cross hatching. Also, I'm varying the pressure that I put on the paper with the charcoal. I'm noticing the lines in my face, and I'm drawing it. So these gray areas have shapes. Now, I could have done this drawing, and when I do when I do the soft charcoal drawing, what I'm going to do, I'll probably draw from a color photograph to show you how you translate the darker colors into the darker shades of the charcoal. Now my glasses are casting a shadow on my face. I'm not sure I want to include that. It may just confuse the issue.
Can you move your phone over a little bit away from, because I think that's cutting shadow anyway.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, I need to put my phone down. So everywhere that I think that I want to create drama, I'm just going to make it dark. So there's more light coming in from the front right hand side. So there's more shadows cast on the left hand side of this picture. And I guess I can mention, we're going to blend with a stump, but as you can see, your cross hatching is still appropriate. So you don't actually have to blend when drawing with charcoal. But well, when I say blend, rub with the stump or cloth. You can rub with a stump or cloth or tissue paper. Paper towels. I'm raising this side of my lip up. Again, my stigmatism makes it difficult for me to level things off. And I'm always making subtle changes. So when I get to an area that I've already sketched in, like that's a change. This is a change here. I'm prepared to make changes. Sometimes I'm just being creative just to make this picture feel like what I'm looking at. The main thing is the finished product, not so much how you got there. That's why I say I'm just giving you techniques, just showing you possibilities with the techniques. You get these techniques and you develop them and make them your own. Every artist draws differently and paints differently, even though if they've been trained, they've been trained in the same thing. And basically, we train how to see and basic techniques. Now, charcoal needs to be sprayed. We may complete this thing a little early today. If so, we will sign off early. So everything I'm doing now is a setup. It's like a play, working toward a climax. Now, since we're using compressed charcoal, I may have to rub a little harder. I'm not going to use these charcoal sticks I'm using, or your base, these not sticks, but these blenders that I'm using, stumps. These are pretty hard. They're not soft, but you can buy some soft stumps, which is what I prefer as well. And I may use paper towel. I think I may start off using paper towel. So once you get the charcoal down on the paper, now you have something to blend. I'm just putting some more charcoal down here. The paper, the type of paper you use changes the look that you're going to get. Now you can go back a few classes and see us sketch. And we've sketched the face several times. And so there's something here that I don't like that I've done. But I can change it. Nothing's ever etched in stone. I don't care what medium you're using. You change things, make changes because you have to. So never let the medium itself intimidate you. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. You sort of learn more from your failures than you do from your successes in art. One thing you learn, well, I can't do that. That don't work. I have to figure out another way to come to the expected end that I want. I'm just making things darker now because I'm a dark-skinned person. And I really do like drama in all of my work. And the lights and darks sometimes can create that. I'm always aware of my charcoal edge and points. I can feel it. You can feel the charcoal, the material when you're drawing with Conte. So sometimes I'll just turn the charcoal to get one of these corners. That's where I get my points from. So my points, I'm using these corners, these 4 corners as a point. I had big ears. Would you say I have big ears, Diantha?
No, I think you've got average size ears. I was thinking big ears. You have average size.
This picture makes me look like I have big ears. The photograph. I do have big nostrils. You know, I'm glad that I learned finally that I'm unique. So, I hope you kids learn to love yourself. Excuse me? Yep. I want to encourage you kids that you are beautiful. The way you are, the way you look is beautiful. We just have to see the beauty in people and don't judge beauty by what you see on television or Instagram. Some of these ideas about beauty is really weird, you know. For me, the way you are made is very beautiful because nobody can make another person that looks like you. But sometimes on Instagram, you see these ideals of beauty that somebody thought up to sell you some makeup or eyeliners or whatever. But you need to know that you're beautiful as you are. Okay, so this could stop right here. You know, it could actually stop right here. You don't want teeth to look too white in your drawings. You don't want your teeth to stand out. That's one of those issues that's difficult to solve with black and white. So I know I said I was going to use the paper towel, but you can use cloth. And I may end up using cloth, but I'm going to show you some things with the stump. I'm going to start with the bottom lip. I'm being very careful because I need to see what's happening. Now, my stump is not soft. I'm also going to get some paper towel to clean off my stump. This stump is hard. I don't like that. I prefer it to be more like cloth. But when I put more pressure, see now, what you're doing and what I'm doing is moving the charcoal around. But I'm also taking charcoal up. And when you're drawing, I may not want to take up so much charcoal, so I may have to put it back down. So now I'm using the side of my stump. See, not just the point. So, see how that is a little bit turned to be into gray. But I want this part to be dark. So I'm going back and I'm redrawing. You could also spray. You could spray and then redraw, which is a good way to do it. Spray fixative or hair spray. And you can also blend. You can make your stump with a paper towel and blend. So I'm just trying to imitate the grades that I see in the picture. Now, let's see if I can find a cloth. I don't see a cloth, but you can use a cloth, a soft cloth to blend as well. So what I did was I shaped this paper towel, but also I can put my finger in it and wrap the paper towel around my finger. And I have to hold it so that the only thing that touches the paper is what I want to touch the paper. So now I'm blending with the paper towel wrapped around my finger. You can also take your finger and blend with your finger. I don't like doing that with Conte because of the different chemicals, oils that's in my finger. So now I'm going back to the stump. Well, on the paper towel. What I like about the paper towel is that you can blend large areas. So as I'm blending, I'm picking charcoal up as well. And it's not that I want to do that, it's just what happens when you blend. So this stump, I can use this stump to get into small areas. Barely touching the paper, because I really don't want to take up a lot of the charcoal. Also, it's a good idea to, I'm going to get another stump for the eye, the whites of the eyes. They don't need to be white. They're round too, and they turn back in space as well. So it'll be sort of gray. So now I'm using two stumps. So the stump with the most charcoal on, I can use it to get some grays when I blend some of the charcoal from the stump. We'll go back onto the paper. I'm blending softly. Sometimes we think that the more pressure we use, the darker the thing is going to get. That's not always the case. So now I'm using the side of the stump. And then stump flat almost. So you see, I have charcoal on the stump. So I can use that knowledge as well. Just play around with it. Everything we do is practice. Now I will say this, Conte, in one sense, as far as blending, is easier to control than the really soft charcoal, the large sticks. Because it don't blend that easy. So I want to get some grays here. So I'm drawing actually with my paper towel as I'm blending. I'm drawing as well. You never stop drawing. Even when you're painting, you're drawing. So I'm still varying the pressure. So remember, whatever you're doing, try to control it. Try to control the marks that you're making. And when they got a different stump that didn't have so much charcoal on it, because I want some grays. Now this side over here, I'm going to go back with some more darks on this side. But I've decided how I want to finish this picture. I never know, and you never know when, when that's going to happen, when you're going to see something and say, okay, I'm going to do it this way. The picture tells you what it wants to be. Sculpture does the same thing, tells you what it wants to be, what it can be. And if you go with it, you'll have something unique, and it won't look like everybody else's art. So that's why I say, I'm just showing you these techniques, but you're going to end up doing things your own way. But, knowing the basic technique is a great start. So I'm going to go back with some darks, and then I plan to go back to finish it with a few choice highlights with my kneaded eraser. So this whole side over here, I want it to be much darker. So remember I said when you blend, you're picking up some of the charcoal. So that's why I want to go back in here with this. I'm using the corner of my charcoal with the in the hair here. So I'm beginning to have a conversation, and this is drawing. This is not painting, and this is not coloring. This is drawing. So as I go back, say in the beard, the mustache, I'm drawing. So I'm using lines. And when the viewer looks at this close up, they'll see those lines. And it adds something else to the art. More detail. It adds detail to the art. Also, knowing what to not bother about is very important at this stage too. And you have to determine, okay, what's to you, what's important about this? What can I leave out? What do I need to make sure I include, and what can be left out to make this more interesting? Okay. It's about time for me to add the highlights, a few choice highlights with the needed eraser. I'll make my glasses thicker, the rims. Now usually I would put something in the background. I'm not going to do it this time. I would put some shading in the background, but I'm not going to do that this time. Okay, a few highlights and we're done. So now I'm drawing with the needed eraser. See, you can put a point on it. And just taking up charcoal. See if I can put a highlight on these glasses. It may not work. So I'm just putting highlights in places that I think might enhance the picture. Okay, guys, what do you think? You can have fun playing with this, because we worked on this for an hour, but you can work on yours for 3 hours. I think it would take about 3 hours to be satisfied, for you to be satisfied. Me, it would take about 2 hours for me to be satisfied. I'm sort of satisfied with this. We accomplished what we set out to do. But I just don't want you to think that, drawing in charcoal takes only an hour. It takes about, usually a finished drawing takes about a good 3 hours. You should work on it for about 3 hours anyway. Or more. 3 hours or more. There's no time that's too long to work on your pictures. But you can possibly not spend enough time on your drawing. Like you go back, like I will. I know there's things I missed that I won't see today. I have to go back and, when I look at it afresh, I'll see something I didn't notice before. Remember to sign your picture. That's very important for the future, because who knows, you may become a famous artist and people are going to want your pictures signed. And if you are a Splash student, we may want to use your picture, who knows, for an art show. And your picture needs to be signed. Okay, that's it. We've done it. We are finished, and I enjoyed that. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining Splash. And this has been Charlie Newton, and remember, art is for everyone. Bye-bye.